So life be lifing, eh? That's how things go around here. 3 weeks later. So the Hydrasynth is back. 49 key. Look at this. I knew you couldn't stay away. Okay, so the reason why the Hydrasynth is back. I need to kind of be careful on the amount of detail I provide here on the stream, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm kind of slow on the way that I explain this a little bit, because I'm trying to respect other people's privacy. But basically what had happened was, as you guys know, and I've expressed it a few times during the live streams over here, my mom's a traveling medical worker, you know, and one of the deals with being a traveling medical worker is you pretty much have to go from place to place as far as your living situation goes. I am the one. Welcome, my friend. So basically, my mom's getting ready to start a new assignment, so she has recently, acquired new housing. And the place that she's at, that she just moved into, isn't that cool of a place, This guy is a real, I don't know what he is. It's just from the sounds of it, it's just kind of one of those things like, why would you open your home up just to close it off, other than trying to impose your will or whatever the issue is over there? So she has restrictions that adults, especially her age, should not have in a living situation. And one of those things was not being able to have the Hydrasynth over there. So she was going to put it in storage, and instead of putting it in storage, because she didn't want to put it in storage, and I was just like, well, I'll take it. No, I didn't come together like that, really, but it was pretty much that simple. She didn't have a place to put it like she thought that she would. But with this whole situation happening, it kind of, influenced the decision to consider other options. So, you guys know that we've been talking about here moving to the Midwest. And with that has been a bit of planning, and we've been discussing it and going through, and weighing our options and whatnot. But with things happening the way that they are right now with my mom and everything, we just came to the realization, or the conclusion here, same difference, that it would probably be best if we combine our efforts. It's not that we need to get out of here right away. It's just, you guys know what the deal is here as far as our living situation goes. We're in low income housing in an apartment, which makes things, complicated when it comes to doing live streams and music and stuff. Carbon vibes. So we've been itching to get out of here, but we were getting ready to head to the Midwest from here. But with my mom's situation, she decided that this is enough for her. It's too much. She's been doing the traveling medical worker thing for a little bit, and there's just too many discrepancies in the quality of your living conditions. So in order to maintain, some sort of civility and have some comfortable living space between now and retirement, she decided to take a permanent job. She hasn't done it yet. She's still doing that. This assignment, she still has to go through and do whatever with it. However, the living situation she's trying to get out of, She knows that we're kind of trying to get out of this living situation because, it is what it is. We've been here for 4 years and it's low income housing and all that. You know, so instead of going to the Midwest right away, what we're going to do is we're going to combine our efforts, and she'll probably stay with whatever she does, and then we'll go from there to the Midwest. We have a couple options here, but we have settled on a small town here. So we are going to be moving to small town living, which is great. But I can't tell you guys as far as the specifics go because, it's such a small town, you know, privacy to be considered and all that. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to defend or do any kind of BS or whatever, try to maintain that. Um, but yeah, so as you guys know from our last live stream, you know, Grandma came to visit and, kind of laid it on us and let us know how things were in her situation. And, yeah, it just makes sense this way. So combining our efforts, she'll be able to save a little bit money in housing. We'll, save some money because, I mean, we'll be paying about the same amount, but, split it in half, we could have a much more comparable living space. So I know that, people make plans to do things and, it's like what Trusto said in the chat, the universe doesn't care about your plans. So this is a much needed thing to do. It's like important and all that. But the consequence of the whole thing is in a bigger environment, we'll be able to actually monitor and do things more specifically when it comes to making music. Now, here's the flip side to things. Lil Tussin, you guys know that he's been homeschooled. There's very specific reasons for that. He started school in kindergarten right around the COVID time. But we also know with this kid's development and everything like that, we had to put him in hybrid learning anyway. So when he was in hybrid learning and he was going to school, he was okay for a couple years, but then he started developing, behavioral issues or whatever. And we decided to pull him from school this year and keep him 100% in homeschool. I won't get into the specifics as into why, but it was a really solid idea. It was a good move. It was the best we could do. And because of that, he's, almost done with his, third grade work already. And, here we are in barely January and, he's already doing his end of the year work. But his social skills are something to be desired, to say the least. We went to a birthday party, one of his friends over here, and it's fine. He did okay. There's nothing. It's a pretty cool place. It's nostalgic. Got a bunch of old video games and all that. Excellent pizza. They had a great oven. But yeah, he desires more social circumstances than what he has, and we can't provide him something that's equivalent to school. However, because he's been learning the way that he has and dealing with things the way that he has, yeah, it's not good in this town for him to go to a normal public school. Especially in a booming town, especially when these changes are taking place. However, in a small town with two schools, the high school and the elementary school or grammar school, whatever you want to call it, they are better equipped to deal with a personality such as his and his accelerated learning. Maybe they'll be able to help as far as his development goes in that regard to where they could actually find a place for him, to where he could learn and develop the way that he has been at home. Because right now he's way ahead and there's no place for him in these schools. So because we have a gifted child who is doing better than your average in the 99th percentile in all subjects, yeah, they don't really have anything here for them. So it would be a good opportunity to try having him go to school at the beginning of the year, next year. More one-on-one attention for sure, and other peer dynamics. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, we'll see about the Midwest. Yeah, I mean, if we don't make it down there, then, it is what it is. Life be life and all. And really, when it comes down to this, we got to do what's best for little Tussin over here. But also, there's that element of my mom and the circumstance that she's in. And the last thing we want to do as grown adults is combine efforts with, parental. But, you know, it's not a problem, for us to live together at this point. She stays over here sometimes when she comes to visit or when she's in town or whatever. And I know it's different having short term and long term, but we'll have a nice big house, or big enough, bigger than this, small space, and have the environment that he needs. And if it doesn't work out school wise for little Tussin, we'll just keep him home. Not really a big deal, and he'll do whatever. I didn't mean that. I mean, yeah. He said, your family is up here near us. Yeah, well, I'm still working on this album. It's not like I'm putting this album aside to go do all this. It's just with him going to school essentially all day long, Mama Tussin's going to be at work, Grandma's going to be at work. That means I'm going to be home for like 6 hours every day. Whatever shall I do? I do love these keys. Like, geez. So it's not like we're half stepping here and like, oh, I was going to take a break to work on this album and now we can't because life be life. And no, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. The situation is this needs to happen pretty quick. So expedience is an issue. And if things were meant to be in this regard and it's supposed to happen, everything will fall into place as it should. Being mindful of that, it's looking like maybe a month or two, instead of our, down the line. And I know at that point, we're not going to throw Lil Tussin in the whole thing in the middle of the school year. But the important thing is that we'll have a lot more space to take care of a lot more things, which means that even not being home by myself and all that, like I'll still have more time to put the effort into this album in a real meaningful way. Not that it's not meaningful now, it's just album mode is album mode. Album mode means you get up, you work on the album, you go to sleep working on the album. You work on the album in your head while you're sleeping, you wake up and you make whatever changes, and all the other stuff like getting up and getting food and all that, that's secondary, maybe even third, depending on if you got other people in your life. It's definitely going to be a lot easier in a different environment to be able to, hunker down and make this happen. So in the meantime, before that happens, Mom couldn't keep the Hydrasynth at her place, so we're keeping it here. like it. It's a dope synthesizer. Kent Spong's favorite. Kent Spong's favorite digital synthesizer. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. I'm not going to stay on here long. I'm sure you guys know, because you guys have seen me in the chat after the last live stream. You know, we were going to give it today. Today was going to be the start of our break. The Hydro got some wet saturations. Yeah, it does. So I didn't mean to butt into everybody's live streams. Garen's up, Since Samurai's up, Weaver's up, but, you know, life be life and all, and I got stuff to do here. So I just wanted to get on real quick and let you guys know what's going on, because shit's real out here, you know? Didn't think this would be the option or even consideration, but it needs to happen. And we've been looking at getting into small town living for a little bit. So it's a win-win in that regard. And having an environment that will potentially foster our sons' education the way that they need to. And hopefully social situations as well. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll find out. Point being that even if we don't end up in the spot that we're looking at, we're going to continue looking in the town. And we'll sign a year lease and do whatever and figure it out by then. And then maybe then, you know, I mean, a lot can happen in a year, and especially what we have on the table. It's a lot. You know, I mean, we may decide we never want to leave. We may be so comfortable living in a small town, we decide this is the life for us. We're just going to stay here. The added bonus, where it is located, it's kind of out of the danger zone in comparison to where we're at. It would be a lot more comparable if the shit hit the fan to deal with whatever we needed to deal with. And there's a bit more of a community there versus here. You know, here, you know, the community that existed is being melded between here and Portland. You know, it's funny, I was mentioning how, you know, so many people are coming across and bringing their problems over. Yeah, like our neighbors. You know, it's crazy. This apartment complex that we live in has changed so dramatically because of that. And it's just a different place, and it's not as comfortable of an environment, you know? So yeah, that's what it is pretty much. You know, we've already been itching to move. We were planning on moving closer to the spring, and now we're just going to be moving closer to this time. You know, so in the moving process, it's not going to be problematic as far as us streaming and everything. We're still going to have regularly scheduled live streams, and we're still going to have regular content. It's just the album mode is going to have to wait for a little bit, because we have to focus on taking care of our family here first. And that's what comes first in all this, you know. And it's like I told you guys before. You know, if my family life is in disarray, I can't even do music at that point. You know what I mean? I need the family thing to function as a musician, to be able to create. You know, at the end of the day, for those of us with spouses and children, have to make the best choices that provide a better life for our families. Yeah. Yeah. Son said, "You got this." Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And, this place checks off all the boxes. It'll be the best for little Tussin. It'll get moms out of her situation. And not only that, it'll also provide a few more content and performance related activities and opportunities for us that will be beneficial not only for this channel, but for the music moving forward. So we'll have a better room, more sound isolated, and we won't have to deal with neighbors and all these noises. There's specific times we can't live stream over here because they do the landscaping. There's stuff that's going on at all times. So I don't know how much streaming we're going to do as far as this live stream. I mean, the agenda is still the agenda. It's just we're not waiting until later to make a move. And because of that, it's kind of pushed things to where on the other end of it is when the time will be available to really hunker down, and it will still be enough time to be ready for the season. So the album will still be done, and it'll still be done by the time it needs to be done. I'll have more time to work on it, more time to stream, more time to work on everything else. It's a win, 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 win. So it's like Son and I were talking about earlier. People are out here as thinking that musicians and YouTubers and stuff like that are all invincible and everything, totally, irrespective of the fact that we all are human beings with real life shit happening. And I didn't know until my mom's visit how bad her situation was. I spoke with her about it over the phone. But you're talking like she just moved into this situation last week, and it was like upon arrival, this guy, helped her with her bags, under false pretenses. And he was just trying to gauge her stuff and was like, this isn't a hotel, right? She signed a contract on a 3-month stay, as a medical worker, And yeah, this guy who's, I think, around my age or something like that is telling this 64-year-old woman the business about what she can and cannot do, and being completely restrictive about a lot of things like, oh, you got too many bags. You can't keep this here. You can't do this. You can't do that. So like any of us would do in that situation, we would remove ourselves from that situation immediately. So, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why she stayed 2 nights here, because it's not cool, and doing all that stuff, in her age, especially all this moving around, there are consequences to your health, to your physical body, when you do these, when you make these moves and you travel around a lot, and entering into the traveling job position, after leaving the state of Washington, when we did that whole thing, that journey to Montana, right before the winter time, yeah, it's rough, just going that dramatic of shift. And it kind of got us thinking about it too, like, well, I mean, what grown person wants to live with their parents, and it's not like we're like, oh, we got it bad and have to move in with mom, it's like, no, we are collectively, consciously doing this together for the sake of benefiting both my mom and Lil Tussin first and foremost. She obviously needs a situation that is better, so she's going to try to find something local or something close. Even though we'll be in a small town, we'll be, not far from essential services and everything. So, it'll be fine, and it's exactly what we need. I think with our whole family, like everybody, like as far as, our immediate circle goes, you know, uh, my wife, myself, and our son, and my mom, our spirit needs something like this. We need the peace, the quiet, the distance, and the seclusion. And what better time to work on an album front to back when it comes to all that, other than when you're in that kind of environment. I could only work on it in drips and drabs over here. I could do whatever in my head and I could produce what I can over here. But I can't just lock the door behind me and work. We moved to this place in a small town. I'll be able to lock the door behind me and work. So it makes all the difference. And I know I could put myself last in this situation, but when I finally get to me, it'll work out for me too. And it'll work out for us. So that is the reason why I was going to put a video out saying that we are going to take a break. And that's the reason why we haven't put said video out. Because these videos that I was going to drop this week, and then, that was going to be it. After the videos dropped, I'd still, kind of be out of the chat other than, Symptoms of Reality and, Pro Synth Network and EA Ski from time to time. Yeah. It's been a D minor day. So, yeah. By the way, that RV behind you almost hit me. Riverside, motherfucker. That's a Ben and Jerry's. This one right here. This guy right here. That's a Ben and Jerry's truck. So it's like technically a C-Class. Alright. Mom's made it alright. I always worried about that, traveling and everything. You reach a certain age, you wonder about people. You can see Mars right now. Cool. Awesome. Alright. Is that it? Is that it? Okay. 7 o'clock. It's been a half hour. Alright. Even worse, I thought it was Mr. White. Yes, sir, that's me. You don't like shot? No, sure don't. Brace yourself. You got to be. Cause I'm a motherfucking G. Goddamn, I'm a motherfucking. Now I got that shit in my head. Yeah, so I just wanted to get on here real quick and let you guys know what the deal was. I think that's just about all the information I could share for now. I'll keep you guys posted as, the major developments come in. But as far as things go in the immediate future, I don't know. It all depends. I follow the universe's plan and the dude abides. And right now, the dude is abiding. I'm still going to get this album off, though. But yeah, it's just going to be a few short weeks before we make the move. So it'll be a few short weeks before, we get back into album mode or whatever. But I'm still kind of more heavily gravitated towards making and developing content revolving around the album. So it's still going to be the main focus of what we do here on the channel. It's just we're going to be doing other things too. Word. Yeah, I appreciate you, son. much longer unless I get on some kick and start, talking a bunch of ish and all that other stuff. But yeah. Welcome. I don't know how much you heard, and I know you were asking earlier, but we're not taking a break just yet because we have to move more immediately than we planned on, and into a more comparable situation for streaming, making music, and being in album mode completely. So I actually feel good about it. I just don't want to be one of those people that says something or whatever and just doesn't do it or whatever, and I'm just kind of hanging around, You must have mistaken me for an unserious person. So this is a kind of a live stream to reflect my level of seriousness and to let you know that my commitment is still steadfast to this album, and we're going to get it done. Life happens. Yeah, it definitely does. Sounds like good things are in motion. They definitely are. Hey, get to play with a Hydrasynth. The thing is, though, is that if we're mixing our living environment, I'm technically not going to get rid of this for quite some time. Because we're going to have it until we move. But we're moving in together. So I'm still going to have it available at all times, whenever I want. So that's cool. Happy accident. I like it so much better than the Explorer. When my mom was like, I don't want to put it in storage, I was like, I could hold on to it over here. Oh, here you go. This one's for you, Trusto. Trusto 101. It's been a D minor type of day. When it was like the third D minor of the day, I was like, I'm going to start this stream with a D minor. Motherfuckers are bad influences. Yeah, so not taking a break just yet, but, taking a break isn't really taking a break. Is it? Life be lifing. And just like I've mentioned this person a few times in this stream already, just like Trusto said, the universe doesn't care about your plans. And I could paraphrase by saying, the universe doesn't care about your stupid, foolish plans. So, our plan now is to combine forces like Voltron for about a year or so, see if Lil Tussin can handle life in a public school in a small town. And if we decide that this is the place for us, then, we may end up staying. But with things in the way that they're working out and the fact that, the book still needs to be written, my oldest is still in Ohio, our plan is to just use this as a transitional place, which is good because it'll, give us time to stack our chips and do what we need to do work-wise. But like I said, we will also be very close for to some very interesting musical opportunities, live performance, content for the channel, and it's an interesting town, and I look forward to exploring it a little bit. I've only been there a few times, but haven't been in the heart of the town. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, we're in Vancouver right now. I don't mind telling you guys that we're in Vancouver because there's like 400,000 people here. It may be smaller than where we came from, but it's not a small town. I mean, it kind of is to me, because I'm used to Phoenix. It's all like super spread out, millions of people and all that. This town that we live in right now is like a 20-mile square radius, pretty much. 20 minutes will get you around the entire the entire town. Freeway wise, if you don't take it, it's crazy. There's a lot of weird diversity, as far as the neighborhoods go, but it's developing too much, you know. Good friend lives in Camas. Yeah, and we were looking at Camas. We were looking at Camas because my mom's old house was in Camas. Well, it was on the borderline. For those who don't know the geography here, you got Portland, Oregon, and then there's the Columbia River that separates Oregon and Washington. You got the I-5 and the 205, and then on the other side of that, you have Vancouver, Washington, not BC. And on the east side of the 205 is Camas. Hey, Camas right here. Look at right there. His face. This kid has been driving me batshit. Oh my God. This kid has been getting into so much trouble the past few days. He's been criticized. He's been ridiculed. He acted a fool in the store. He's been getting in tussin' trouble over here. What do you have to say, troublemaker? Come on. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which is exactly what you're about to become. Watch out. Okay, yeah. See, don't steal my water. I need that to live. Jesus, give it. Off screen. Off screen what? Okay, yeah. Give me my water off screen. Look at.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah. See, you're on screen. There you go. It's not off screen. Okay, you're covering up. Go. Peace off. All right. Life be lifing. This is why I don't stream during the day. And the reason why normally when I stream, it's after this kid's in bed. Because if he hadn't gone through what he gone through today and yesterday, he would have been doing this the whole stream already. Especially when he doesn't go out to exercise. All right, shh. I'm trying to explain something. You interrupted. All right, so you have Camas, you have Washougal, and those are smaller towns. Camas is developing like crazy, but it can only develop so much because it's in between Vancouver and Washougal. Washougal is a pretty small town, and that's where you start getting on the outskirts up by the Columbia River. But Vancouver is an interesting place, and we live in one of, I think, 5 neighborhoods. They're really distinct places here, and yeah, we've been looking at places around in town, looking at a map right now. Yeah, it's pretty small. It's a pretty small town, Yeah, they got the waterfront. Vancouver Lake is to the west of where we're at. So that's a good monument to see on the map, as far as things go. And we went to Vancouver Lake and the Columbia River for some of our live streams over here with the other Hydrasynth. So we used to race dirt bikes there in Washougal. Yeah, a lot of space for it. all that space is being developed on right now, and it's crazy because just drove by there yesterday for the first time in a few months, and it is totally different. They're making it all bougie and everything. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, this it's really developing. This town is at its development stage, and with everything and the people coming from across from Portland, and being squeezed out of the rental environment, and my mom, same thing. She didn't want to dump all her money into rent, but doesn't want to buy a house because she's already been there, done that, and sold her house to be in this situation here. So the best bet for both of us is just to combine our efforts. It'll get her out of that situation with the crazy person. Then she won't have to deal with these crazy people. We have already figured out that we could, kind of tolerate each other enough, especially now because we have been through a living situation already together several years ago. And yeah, it's just it'll work out the way that it needs to. Better than the alternative. Because my wife and I were just going to get an overpriced apartment or something else, just something better than here. But you look at places that are better than here, they're either tremendously overpriced and out of our level of affordability, or just little boxes, made out of ticky tacky, So we definitely wouldn't want to move into a place that doesn't have like what we have here, because we have a playground right next, like right in front. Like you go out this window over here, playground right there. On the other side of the playground, there's a forest. There's with no matter how much deforestation they've done here, there's a lot that still remains that they can't knock down because there's nothing to build out. So, and there's specific things that they're not allowed to do as far as the development goes. But, with that said, Amazon just deforested a whole section of the neighborhood just for the sake of building this warehouse, and it's messed up. But, we'll see. We'll see. Playground and forest sound good. Yeah, um, when you're a city boy and you grow up in a concrete jungle, that's all you want is something with breathable air and some comparable space. So we have that element, but we just have the low income housing with the non level ground. For those who are not familiar with Vancouver, the main elements here are the plains. So there's mill plane and there's fourth plane. You know, um, they exist on top of a water table, and the water table is it fluctuates when when there's a bunch of rain and all that other stuff. Consumption over trees, yeah, and even with the law that's in place that says you have to plant X amount to make up for X amount that you deforest, it's not like the environment doesn't feel it. And if you look at that, man, that used to be a great drive. I used to ride my bike when I was working at the high school before I became the night lead, and I used to ride right up and down that strip there, and it was nice. It was all farm and forest, and I was like thinking about it. I was like, one of those environmental experiences that you just take in, and because it's a routine to where I was doing it on a regular basis, it was like it's there. It was cool. It was nice. And now if I did that same bike ride, even just driving by it, it's disgusting because it's this huge warehouse building. All the trees are gone. It's right next to a swamp, so the marsh is right there, and they got the cows across the street. So, yeah, they try to take care of Washington, though. Yeah, they do. Yeah, and not being in places like Olympia or Seattle or something like that. That's we don't want to move to a bigger town. Smaller town life is the way to go. Um, yeah, and I'll probably talk to you guys in private and let you guys know where we're going as far as that goes, because you guys are familiar with the area, and I could trust you guys with the information, not publicly though. But if I told you guys where it is, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's dope," you know, because it's perfect for this kid. It's perfect for us, you know, and it's definitely perfect as a transitional place, especially because we're talking about getting land after this, and there's no way that we're going to get land in Washington State, but it'll get us the time to stack our chips, do what we need to do, and figure things out. Now that we've got more people entering the chat here. Chris. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's it going? Just kind of touching base with everybody. So if you missed it, the reason why the Hydrasynth is here is because my mom's kind of in a situation that she just moved in for her temporary traveling jobs that is really uncomfortable, and not only is she not, going to have this there, but like she's not allowed to. So it's crazy when adults try to place restrictions on other adults, especially when those adults are older. I come from an environment of respect your elders no matter what. I mean, even if they're complete shitheads, you know what I mean? You got to have some level of respect and decency when it comes to treating people a certain way, and yeah, it's just messed up, you know what I mean? There's no call for that, but instead of throwing it in storage, we're holding on to it, and because we're combining our efforts here in a living situation, we'll be taking it from here to the new living situation where we will also have access to it. So it's not really going away, I mean, it's not ours, but appreciate you guys showing up here. Like I said, I don't mean to stomp on everybody's streams when we got Garen, Synth Samurai, Weaver Beats, and others going live. But there's so many of us now on this platform. We're always stomping on each other's streams, and I'm kind of limited in my time here. I don't think I can exceed an hour in the stream going through it. Yeah, and I want to make sure that I'm available for wifey. So. I don't know if we'll go back to the 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time streams, knowing that for like a week or two that we're going to be here. But yeah, and if it's meant to happen, like I said, it'll come together quickly. So we'll know if it's meant to be with how quickly things move. It definitely is inevitable, especially when you travel through multiple genres of channel. We all have our own uniqueness about our channels and the things that we do. All the way up until the stream, I had Garen and Synth Samurai open. I had to close out Weaver, and I was just like, close my streams. Appreciate you. Cressy said, okay, done my thing. Watched and liked. 3 a.m. Zzz time. Go back to the D minor. And as you guys could tell here, we didn't submit a hardware jam this week. Not that we're not a fan of Lord of the Rings and all that, but, we had Graham over here until, I don't know, this afternoon sometime. Like, I had it going while she left, and it was still going a couple hours afterwards. But more importantly, we were out and about yesterday, and we were out and about the day before. So, it's been an interesting weekend to say the least. And yeah, it's unfortunate that things work out the way that they do, but a lot of the trauma and stuff like that we face in life is just to guide us in the direction that we're supposed to be in. And now that we have decided on combining our efforts, as soon as we started looking it up and looking into it, it was like, oh, well, this place would be perfect. And if this place doesn't work out, this town will be perfect. Hey, let's look into the history of this town. We start looking at the history. We're like, oh, this is exactly what we've been looking for this entire time. But we didn't execute any kind of decision making because it was kind of out of our reach for the moment. You know what I mean? Future surprises for the masses on the horizon. Gotta mess up a lot of gray matter. No spoilers. Hey, my knee's playing. Look at that. Yeah, me too. Recon just said that he likes the way the details are coming together. And that's the thing about it. The ebb and flow of things, I try not to take things to heart when it comes to the negative experiences, because I understand the value in going through them. So if there's ever a situation where it doesn't land favorably on our circumstance, I never get upset about it. I never get angry about it, because I know that there's something that leads to that. And I understand that, if you get upset about it, it kind of clouds your vision and decision making. So I kind of, it took a while. It's not like I just woke up the first day of being born and realized that I should just relax and let the universe handle it. When it comes to certain circumstances that are out of our control. But I'm here now. We're here now. Like, we understand things to a point to where, it makes things easier moving forward. And we have had the discussion for the last 4 years, because we've been in this low-income housing situation in this 2-bedroom apartment for 4 years. December 13th, I want to say, maybe earlier, but around that time, right before Christmas. And it's just crazy, because we wanted to move out after our lease was up. We've been on month to month for 3 years. So it's crazy that we've been in this situation, and we were always trying to figure out, why are we stuck here? We wanted to get to the Midwest. What is going on with us to where we are stuck here? Well, the answer to that obviously came with my wife and I's turmoil. When my wife and myself, we had this turmoil that we had to deal with and go through some of our issues. And taking the trip up to South Dakota was a part of that. And it meant everything for us moving forward. Midwest. It all works out in the end. Being upset serves no purpose. Waste of energy. Continue to focus up and invest in the positive only. That's exactly it. And we've learned that a bit ago, but it doesn't mean things don't hurt when they hurt. You guys know, because you guys have been through some of the experiences with us, even as of recent. We've been through some shit here, and if you don't believe me, check out my video on what we all did in 2024. It was quite the year, and we're starting off just as strong, or if not stronger, than we did last year. And that's the thing about it. When you do things the right way, and I just repeat myself over and over again when I say this, the way that you're supposed to do and the way that you're meant to do it, everything will fall into place. Minnesota specifically, because that's where our family's from. And I'm writing a book about my family. And the missing elements of it, even though I have the detail of the information and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that I need to be there for. But I think that may be our end result. But I don't know. This small town is really nice. This may be our end result in this small town because that's basically what we're trying to find in the Midwest. The only difference is that we have the majority of our extended and, larger family in Minnesota. And, my oldest son is in Ohio, so that's real close, Fall and fall and fall. One day you don't. Yeah, it's like the layer cake thing. You eat shit, you climb the ladder, you eat more shit. Before you know it, you've eaten so much shit, you forgot what shit tastes like, But, that's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, and the thing is that when you're easygoing and understanding, it's a lot less of a motherfucker, and we have to do what's best for little Tussin first and foremost. But regardless on the drama between our past drama between my mother and myself and our family, um, life kind of humbles you and changes the circumstance. And we have spent the past couple of years here kind of settling old scores and dealing with some of our issues. Even though we haven't talked through them, we have worked through them actively. She has her way of working through things. We have our way of working through things. We met somewhere in the middle where our circumstances provide the opportunity to come together. So that's what we've done here. And I did not think this weekend either, even, you know, even with her explaining to me some of the issues when it came to what she was dealing with over the phone, not until she showed up here and told me what was going on that I was like, yeah, you don't want to do that. And it was like the day after she moved, where she was like, I can't do this traveling shit no more. It's done, And, really, when it comes down to it, you reach a certain age, it's not good for you. It's not healthy for you. She's got to take care of her health. We got to take care of our health, and we got to take care of our son. So I am the one son. Take care. Balance or fail. We fail a lot. But the wife and I had a chance. Yeah. Yeah. You have each other. That's it. Yeah. And it's not it, but it's the best you could get. It's just to be there for one another. Nothing is better than that. I could live in a box as long as I have my earth. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. As long as you have an environment that is comfortable, sustainable living, what more do you need? And that's what it comes down to it. This here isn't long-term sustainable living, and neither was what she was doing. And we just kind of been spending the last 4 years in this apartment figuring out our shit. But once my wife and I figured out our shit, things have been going crazy good, I mean, we still have our issues, don't get it twisted, and not me and my wife. We don't have our issues. I mean, we have issues, but our issues are together, you know what I mean? We face those issues as a unit, you know what I mean? Before, we used to have our issues separate as well as a unit, and then we used to butt heads over our issues and all that other stuff. So now we're on the same page and facing whatever, short-term issues or small issues or even large issues. So hopefully getting little Tussin into a full-time public school will be available to him in this small town. So we can discontinue he's not even on hybrid learning. He's 100% homeschool. But I don't want to put him in a public school and then have his education suffer because he's smart as shit. and he's already almost done with the third grade, and he was almost already done with the third, okay, so today was technically his first day back at school. He spent a bunch of time on his science, which he's already into his April work on his science. He didn't do as good as he wanted to do on his science with all the time he spent, so he did like 4 social studies assignments. He's only got a couple more units and he's done with social studies, and that's the same with everything else. He's really there with it. Proud father you are. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. I want to continue being a proud father. Not that if he messed up, I'd be like, you suck, or whatever, but yeah. Oh, word. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, but I am proud of him, and it was pulling him from his hybrid school that got him there education wise. But now his social skills and all that, it's like, ugh. So, it's great, I mean, wouldn't you be? Shit. You see and hear what this kid's doing, it's crazy. And he needs to be there with it because, that's how music people are when it comes to the making the sauce, And he's definitely getting it going. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. We are still going to be in album mode. He said that's true. It's beaming out of him. Yeah, I can't help it. And it's like I said before, a lot of people see the smiles and, and say there's a lot of pain behind this smile. But, this is the layer cake where you eat shit and you move around and you eat more shit. We're just eating a bigger pile of shit, but it's all good, or you eat less shit, whatever. I think I got that backwards. I think you eat less shit as you climb to the top, not you eat more shit. I had it reversed because I live my life in the reverse. As time goes on, you eat more shit. Yeah, you climb the ladder, you eat less shit, but whatever. Hopefully, I won't get a copyright claim for myself for my intro music. We got this intro music right here. And yeah, it's a part of the it's on a Genetic Mutation album, so I put it there, and hopefully it'll work to where I can keep it because it's a dope song. But it is, I mean, while it is my own work in 15 minutes or whatever. He said that intro music is pretty good, but have you considered adding the Aztec death whistle? Yes. Sid Samurai reminded me about the death whistle because they have legit death whistles out there that are like $40 or whatever. I know they have replicas and all that other stuff, but like it's not like they're really hard to make or whatever, and not like they're not available. Yeah, I like the death whistle. I got a syntheset instead. that was my Christmas audio production thing. And it's where is it? Where's that thing? I don't know, it was somewhere. So, one of the things that we're doing here as far as the content goes, and it may be the very next live stream, but I want to make sure that I have the space to do it in, and the time to where this kid's not running around and being a punk and all that. I'm going to go through a live stream breaking down the details of my entire life as a musician. And then I'm going to edit that live stream into content and then, make the video why I haven't made it yet. And, which is all in the eye of the beholder when it comes down to it. Um, yeah, and I'll do that live stream, so we'll be doing that together. So we'll be going through and listening to the um, the old albums. I'll be showing you guys pictures from my childhood, pictures from, I mean, I've already showed you guys some of the pictures, MC. I think the first picture that I have of me on the microphone was that one from when I was 18 years old. So you have so much in your resume, like a lot of this. Yeah, yeah, it's weird because I do and I don't. Like I do because I have a lot of hats that I could wear and that I have worn and a lot of things that I've done, but I haven't been consistently doing them up to this point. Like I took a break from performing for I mean, I haven't performed since 2010. So, there's that. Um so, if it's not as impressive as somebody who's out there in the music industry all day, but it's enough to where I have my little stint, but I'm trying to make my little stint a little bit bigger. And the way to do that is take all this culminated skill and stuff that I've developed over the years and put it into this hip hop album, which is exactly what's happening. So probably not going to get an RC 505 just yet because the album is the priority over jamming, and we still need that MPC. So we're gonna get the MPC, and yeah, and go to town. You know, when was your most recent album? 2020, COVID, and actually, you could hear the lower graded quality audio on here because so my last album was a mix of songs that were all from that 10-year time period from 2010, and some of the songs on there are really that old, and some of them were as recent as 2020. So and you could kind of tell the difference as far as the sonics go, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and you guys could listen to it because, and just keep in mind, I've since remastered this album and the sonics are on point, but they are not here on YouTube. Let's make sure it pulls up. Yep, there it is. So there you go. If you guys want to listen to my most recent album, there it is. It's okay. It's good musically. It's good. It's just, remastered it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a shit like that. My album before that was called Developed Species. So, yeah. And then I'm going to remake Developed Species because Developed Species was made with whatchamacallit, Least Beats. And even now I'm having trouble with them because I'm getting copyright claims and stuff like that on my old stuff. But the songs are there. It's just I didn't have time to make beats because I was building my shop and I was doing everything that I was doing. So yeah, just to warn you guys, sonically, it's not all the way there. Some of them sound more sonically better than the others. But what I have here, if you guys get it directly from me, we got the sonic shit. And actually, I have to go through the remaster again, so I might do that here live too as well. But it's available. It'll be available on the website once I'm doing all that stuff. And yeah. I also did a Tom Waits cover song in it too, so God's Away on Business, is one of my dad's favorite songs. That came together because of Little Tussin. you know. And I told you guys this story before, but that song, God's away on business. It's just something my dad really, really enjoyed that. And just one day it got stuck in my head while I was working on this genetic mutation album. And I just thought about it and was like repeating the song, and singing it. And then just me singing it got into Lil Tusson's head. So he started singing God's Away on Business. I was like, I have never done a cover. Growing up as an MC, you don't even consider doing covers because you're like, it's another form of biting or whatever. But as you develop as an artist, you realize that, it's not the same thing. So doing a cover, even though it's kind of unheard of when it comes to hip hop, maybe not early hip hop because there's a lot of, sampled from the earlier days. But yeah, it was the first cover I've done out of two. The other cover I didn't release, and it was Butthole Surfer's Pepper. And that's an interesting one that I probably will never release because I want to do a video for it, and it costs a lot to get the licensure to be able to do videos. But maybe I will. Maybe I will one of these days. Oh, Lil Tusson's all over that. Lil Tusson's on the opening track, so he's at the very end of the intro song, and he's also on the very last song. But he's not just on the very last song. The last song has this dead space in between it after the song's over, and Lil Tusson has his own little track. I should play it for you guys. If I get the claim, I get the claim. I don't think I will, though. I mean, even if I do, who cares? I don't monetize these videos, so it doesn't matter. I get the claim. Claims come all day. I get claims for building drum patterns or whatever. Let me go here, and it's an interesting song because come on. Let's see. Why does it do that? DONTATION. Oh, I don't even know why I did that. I could have just looked in the thing over here instead of doing it this way. See what I get? Oh, then I go on the thing. All right. My bad, y'all. I'm going to grab it. And, make sure you all. And we go to we'll go out after this. So this is what we'll do. We're gonna end it on this note. This is one of Lil Tusson's placements. Now the interesting thing about this over here, okay, here we go. So the interesting thing about this is that let's see. Okay. This, I know it's a goof. Why I put it on the last of the album? Because I'm like that. I do weird crap, when it comes to music stuff or whatever. Let me make sure that I have the thing on here. Okay. So, he had this issue with he used to say "for you can" instead of "so you can." So you can do this, so you can do that, so you can do that. For some reason, he had it in his head that it was for. So he had this habit. He used to say, "For you can do that, for you can do that," because I think he heard "before you can do that" at one time. But we did this thing with him, and he was just like, made this little tune to have him memorize it. And memorizing it turned into this little song. So here is Lil Tusson's placement over here. And, my voice is on it, obviously. We had to do it together. But here it is. Lil Tusson. Let me get on here so you guys could hear it in a more direct way.
So you can laugh where you can. Poo poo in the garbage can. Use the tiki, not your hand. If it's sticky, use this hand.
So you can, that's all you can. Poo-poo in the garbage can. Use the tippy, not your hand. If it's sticky, use the fan.
Stop doing it. Stop doing it now.
If it's sticky, use the fan. If it's sticky, use the fan. If it's sticky, use the fan. If it's sticky, use the fan.
Poo poo poo, yeah. So you can laugh where you can. Poo poo in the garbage can. Use the tiki, not your hand. If it's sticky, use this hand.
Poo-poo in the garbage can. If it's sticky, use the fan.
And there you have it, folks. Lil Tusson's Poo Poo in the Garbage Can. Curtain call. The end. George. Oh, it's George. My bad. I was used to the old way of saying it. I'm sorry, my friend. I don't mean to butcher your name here. But yeah. So pretty funny. You know, it was just one of those things to where, you know, the seriousness of the album is over. Everything, you know, the whole journey had been what it was. And, if people are attentively listening to it, they turn it off by then because that little gap. I mean, it's not that big of a gap. It's not like Gorillaz or something like that on their first album. Yeah. Totally kind of thing I would have loved to discover. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I do it, because, I love to discover that kind of stuff too. And he was 3 years old, and we recorded that in a hotel room. And, yeah. Little Tusson's been getting placements. And, ironically enough, the other time that he was on that album on the intro track was when he was 1.5 years, and he didn't even really know how to talk like that. So I had to take his words and splice them up to where he said it, so it made it sound like he was saying, "Fuck you and all your bullshit music." Yo, yes, George G's. Yeah, I need to say your name more often, so that's what I get for butchering it at the beginning of it. My bad. I'm sorry. Crucify me. Yeah. So, my mom couldn't keep this at her place, and she didn't want to keep it in storage. And we have decided to combine our efforts, just to kind of help each other out in our rental situation, because neither one of us want to pay what we're paying for rent. And she's in an uncomfortable environment. We're in an uncomfortable environment. We're going to get together and move into a comfortable environment. So I'll still have access to this when the time comes and we move. Mom did the right thing. Hey, this wasn't her choice. I mean, it was kind of, but yeah, she could have just put it in storage, but you can't. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could, but she just didn't feel comfortable. And, we were kind of in a situation to where, we'd have to move stuff around for that to happen. Need to jam with her. Yeah, see, and that's another thing too. Us combining efforts into a living situation, maybe I could try to convince her, because I was telling her, I was like, look, I was like, everybody's like, they all think you're the coolest person ever. You're the coolest mom ever, you know? And then, she's all modest about it, but, she also knows, a little bit of like the history and that it's not just, roses and all that other stuff. But I was like, the people want to see you. They want to see you on camera, whether it be talking or whatever, on the whole thing. Um, Whatever the case is, it's just, I don't know. She's got to get comfortable to be on camera. And I approached her with it and was like, hey, uh, you're like a celebrity behind the behind the scenes, because all this stuff that you're doing for your retirement, it's not only an interesting story, but like, I mean, whose mom's out here acquiring synth for retirement, So that alone is enough to be like, hey, you know, let's do it. She is a legend. You hear that, Ma? Just on that fact alone. And I told her, I was like, yeah, just on that fact alone, everybody's like, yo, this is the coolest shit ever. It'd be great to have her on. She doesn't want to show her face. She's like, maybe she's starting to warm up to it a little bit. I mean, I think it's a celebrity thing, so keep pushing her. Maybe she'll do it. I'll be like, look at what these guys are saying. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put a poll up and be like, should my mom get on stream and play with some of her synthesizers? You guys have to archive that. No one has done it. Yeah, it's interesting. Or achieve that, sorry. Achieve that archive. Yeah, how many mother and son combinations are there out there? In the synth world especially. I mean, Ben Jordan's mom shows up to the live stream, but she just shows up in the chat and encourages. She was on a live stream once doing going through the tardigrade microscopic stuff. I think she's a teacher. I'm not 100% sure. None. Yeah, see? But that's the thing. Us combining our efforts and, her being in a situation that is, maybe we'll be, maybe she'll open up to it. Or maybe I'll just put out a poll and show her the poll and be like, look, all these people. You make enough of a stink, you start making people feel like celebrities. Maybe they'll start going out there in the paparazzo. Viral and La Madre viral. I know that my mom and myself had our turmoil, especially when I was a kid, but even as adults. But, a lot of the stuff that has happened as of recent kind of dispelled a lot of that shit, even though we have recent turmoil, life changes things, and kids humble you, and especially when you're in specific situations as well. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, look, over an hour. We did our duty here, just like Cressy. So shout out to all you guys for showing up here. I appreciate you guys. Oh, another thing too, Son and myself are working on something we've been working on for a minute, and it's getting closer. That's all I could say about it. So, yeah, leave a like on your way out. Subscribe if you're not. Support the channel in any way that you can. And I don't know what we're going to do for this week. Maybe we'll just go back into our 10 p.m. schedule. My wife is kind of having a go at work. So she's not doing deliveries. She's doing the assisting. So they're obviously seeing the quality of work that she's producing and putting her in a position to be more helpful. She's actually done with work for the day, which is a little bit earlier, because she was thrown in the ringer when she was doing it yesterday. So, um, yeah, maybe we'll be able to do the 10 p.m. thing, but I kind of want to do during the day, and I just got to get little Tussin's act together. We got to get little Tussin's act together first, so we ain't interfering. But yeah, appreciate you guys. The next live stream that we will be doing, I think, don't quote me on it, but it's in the pipeline. I have all the stuff here, actually. I have all my pictures. I just have to get the digital versions up, and we're going to be going through my whole life up on here. You know what I mean? And we're going to be going through the detail because I'm going to mess up. But I speak better in a live situation knowing that I'm talking to actual people on the other end versus the potential of a maybe person watching after the fact. Synthetic. Welcome. And see you later. So yeah, hopefully it'll be tomorrow or the next day. I just know that the next live stream that I want to do here is going through all of that stuff. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot to talk about. And it's a lot of perspective. And that way I won't go into the detail and play like all the songs. Like we won't have a listening party for my first studio album. Oh, you can't even see that in the thing. Oh, you can see it here. There you go. You can see the little thing. Or the PlayStation MTV Music Generator album that I printed up 250 copies and slapped labels on them and gave them out for free. It was 200 copies, not 250. So yeah, we'll go through all the stuff. Not listening to all of it. We will do that. We will do a listening party or listen. I mean, maybe. I don't know. They're kind of whack. I don't like them. Production wise, they're whack. I mean, the thing is that it's weird because I recorded them in a professional studio. Well, not the PlayStation album. It's just I don't know. I'll pick the best out of it and we'll listen to that. We won't go listening to the whole thing because the whole thing is not on point. Like I got 3 favorites out of the one and I got 2 favorites out of the other that I actually put on the other one. So there's significant stories. I kind of share a little bit of detail here, but we're going to do a live stream that's going to go through all of that. And then I'm going to clip that live stream and it's going to be the why I haven't made it yet story. But it's basically like Recon said, I'm going to be going through my whole resume of stuff. So it's going to be every studio that I worked at, which is cool because I stuck to only a couple as far as recording goes. But yeah, you know me, I talk a lot. Us guys talk a lot. So yeah, it'll be cool. So for now, we have the Hydrasynth back for, I don't know, jamming, I guess. I just like the keys. I like a lot about it. I have the Mini Freak right here, and the other Hydrasynth is actually put away. And I actually put away the Explorer beforehand and brought out the MIDI keyboard because we were using it for the sampler. As much as we need to sample here and going through it. And that's another thing. We got to use some of these and go through. That's what we'll probably end up doing. Instead of doing a listening party on these, we will probably end up doing a live stream and going through a session because I need to sample some of these for the hip hop album. So we'll just run a studio session sampling this crap. And then you guys will be able to hear them through the act of those live streams. And we'll probably end up doing it in one live stream for the both together. I just have to figure out which parts I'm going to sample because I'm being very, very meticulous and picky with this album. Speaking of which, Recon, we need to get together and link up to see what we can do on some some stuff if you're still down to collab on this album. And yeah, I do need to put the word out for people that I do need some beats, but I want to wait until I get some more stuff together first. So yeah, sampling your old stuff has cool potential, especially because I don't like the production on my old stuff. I made the one with the PlayStation MTV music generator. I made the other with Fruity Loops 3. And while I liked them in the time period that I made them, especially because it was my own production, large professor, I am not. Or at least I wasn't then, especially. So there's that to consider. Anyways, see you guys later. Take care. And we'll be up in a couple days here at a reasonable time. We'll give plenty of time for the session to go through, and it'll be a long live stream going through every single detail of this here career and our history before we do the video and clip up the video for actual content. And what we'll do is we'll do the live stream, and we're going to promote it and do everything and give plenty of time, because after the live stream's done, we're going to make it private. So making it private, that means if you're not there to experience it firsthand, you're only going to see the final cut in the content. So I want to make sure to promote as many people showing up to that live stream as possible, not only because I'm going to be in my nostalgic bag at that point, but it'll be an interesting experience for you guys to understand me as an artist, as a producer, as a father and a husband and all that other stuff. And yeah, it'll be an interesting experience. Thank you for a nice time tonight. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for sure. Yeah. I don't mean to say nah. You know how you accidentally like say the wrong word to the right thing? Yeah. I don't mean that. I mean yes. Yes. You are welcome. It is my pleasure. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. You guys will have plenty advance notice on what we do here. Because I have everything out here, I'm actually going to be gathering up all the stuff tonight. So it may be tomorrow, maybe the next day. It'll be sometime this week, and it'll be when we're afforded the opportunity to where there's not a lot of streams going, and that it'll be a reasonable time for just about everybody. So that'll probably be morning our time here. So it just depends on how things work out. Keep it posted. Look out in the Discord. And yeah, see you next time. Love you guys. Take care, y'all.